to Mark Serrano and Jonathan Hoenig on the economic impact of open borders. Guys, we just have Representative Babin on who says he has a bill that argues for a pause in immigration, this Muslim immigration, to make a lot of assessments, including getting the GAO to sort of figure out how much this is costing us. You know, Jonathan, I've looked at numbers, and illegal immigrants in general cost America more than we get back, if you will, you know, between taking care of kids, putting them in school, health care service, and so forth. Should that be a consideration when trying to figure out the perfect or better way of controlling our borders?
No, Charles, I don't believe so. In fact, I think that the danger here for Trump and others is to conflate economic power with political power. And, you know, the Islamist threat, whether it's across any border, is political power, and that's the power of force. And government's role is to keep us safe from those who would use force against us. So certainly, whether it's restricting immigration from terrorist hotbeds or just even more surveillance and proactive activity, but what Trump, I think, and what you're alluding to, and maybe not, but is this question of economic power. And, you know, to the congressman's point, I mean, people who want to come here and work from Mexico, from anywhere else in the world, they're a benefit to this country, not a harm. You
know, Mark, obviously, particularly after what happened in Orlando this weekend, but more increasingly so when Americans think about the border situation, they think about their physical safety of themselves and their families. But there's also been a long economic point to this as well. You're a Donald Trump supporter out the gate from very early on. The argument that sending illegals back out of this nation to sort of spark our economy, you believe in that, right?
Yes, Charles. What Donald Trump has called for from the beginning is a time out. There's such manipulation going on about what his policy actually says. It says take a time out so we can figure out this mess of a vetting system that Barack Obama has created and maintains. We've got to take a time out from that. Now, if there's an economic cost, it's probably a modest economic cost. One thing that, if you look at the details of Trump's policy that he calls for, is ensuring that before anyone comes to the United States, they can guarantee that they don't need welfare assistance before they get here. That's a very reasonable standard that should be applied for the sake of our economy. But most importantly, Charles, the first job of the President of the United States is to ensure our safety. This president failed to do that for 100 people in Orlando and many others. And we've got to address that. We have to address that by taking a look at the FBI, securing our borders. Heck, look at our allies in Europe. If anybody should believe and support that we should secure our borders, it's those who've suffered the consequences of letting Muslims in over there.
I'll make the point, Charles, quickly. Once again, almost right on cue, conflating economic power with political power. Immigrants, Charles, are a great benefit to this country. Listen, entitlements, welfare is bad, whether it's immigrants getting it or Americans getting it. But political power, the Islamists, that's what government needs to focus on.
Jonathan, though, I think it was about a year or so ago, Canada changed their immigration policies, and they wanted to see people come there who weren't going to go directly on a welfare rolls, who could provide for themselves, who had certain skills. You're right. It's a nation of immigrants, but a lot of these immigrants came to this country with skills, and they immediately contributed to America, the economy of America, the safety of America, the pride of America, the assimilation into America. That's where people are having trouble right now. It's not only the safety aspect of it, which echoes loud and clear, particularly in the aftermath of this weekend, but the economic aspect of it, too. When people come here and immediately have children and they go into dole, Jonathan.
Well, Charles, you know, the most economically prosperous period in our history came during a period of relatively free immigration and no entitlements, no welfare, no safety net. So I think, unfortunately, many on the right, certainly Trump, use immigration as the red herring for more control over the economy. Immigrants buy things, they work, they rent apartments. It is to correct a mistake.
It is to correct a mistake in our national security for the past 8 years. The Democrats have allowed this border to become a sieve. There is no filter. There are no controls. A free society must secure its borders to protect its economy. Okay, so if an American citizen who embraced ISIS can kill 50 people, can you imagine what a terrorist coming across our border can do? That's why we need some reforms within our border, but also at our border.
Let's leave it there. You guys are both smart and passionate, and I love you both. All right, see you soon.
Charles.